Today's scripture is 1 Kings 19, verses 1 through 18. And the lesson title is The World Needs Faith. Elijah was on the run. He had just won the barbecue cook-off against the prophets of Baal. You remember, the prophets of Baal, 450 of them, ranted and raved for hours for Baal to send down fire to burn up the animal sacrifice. But nothing happened. Then Elijah took over. He repaired the altar of the Lord, which had been torn down. He placed the meat of the bull on the altar. Then he had them pour 12 large jars of water on the firewood. And after Elijah prayed, the Lord sent fire. And that fire not only consumed the meat, but all the wood, the stones, the dirt under the stones, and the water in the trench around the altar. Then to top it all off, God slaughtered all the prophets of Baal. Needless to say, all this did not sit well with Jezebel, and she sent a message to Elijah that his days were numbered. Quite understandably, Elijah believed her and felt like his days were numbered. But rather than wait for Jezebel's men to kill him, he prayed that God would take his life. He had lost faith in himself because he felt the Lord had lost faith in him. He set off for a 40-day hike to Mount Horeb, where he had a pity party for himself, sleeping in a cave. As one commentator expressed it, Elijah was in a cave mood. In the words of an expression from my childhood, he had a pity party, and only he came. He was all wrapped up in himself. Another saying from somewhere in my distant past: there is no smaller package than a person wrapped up in himself. Elijah had to be unwrapped and have his vision enlarged. So God came to Elijah's pity party and asked Elijah, "Why are you here?" Elijah answered that everybody but him was forsaking God. "I alone am left," he said, "and they're hunting me down to kill me." I can just imagine God shaking his head, like I imagine he has many times with me. God told him to go stand on the mountain, and then God put on a cosmic sound and light show. Rock-shattering winds, but God was not in the wind. A rock-shattering earthquake, but God was not in the earthquake. And a fire that scorched the earth, but God was not in the fire. Then after the fire, there was silence. Not exactly silence, more like a gentle, soft whisper. A still, small voice. Or, as one translation expresses it, a sound of sheer silence. This is a very unusual God who speaks in the voice of silence rather than in the voice of the storm. When Elijah heard the silence, he got up. That's what it takes. To do something, you have to get up. I think this is a very timely lesson for us during this time of lives being shut down because of a pandemic. It is easy for us to withdraw into our cave and feel sorry for ourselves. We want to do things. We want things to happen. We want wind, earthquake, and divine fireworks to let us know that God is here, that God cares, that we're not alone. The truth of the message is that God is here. God does care. We're not alone. So maybe the silence in our lives is not the absence of God. Maybe for us, like God did for Elijah. The silence of our quarantined isolation is not the absence of God at all. Maybe if we unwrap ourselves and open the ears of our soul, we will hear God speak in a gentle, soft whisper, a still, small voice in the sound of sheer silence. What the world needs now, what we need now, is this kind of faith, to trust the sound of silence.